I am grinning from ear to ear. Crowder, there are fan bases that go decades without that dude. You know what I mean? There are fan bases that go decades without Dwyane Wade, Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James. Now Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's that guy. There's a mystique around Jimmy Butler that I think started anew in the Milwaukee series. And if anyone thought that that was a one-series fluke or a one-time fluke, all you had to do was watch that game last night. I mean, the way Kevin Harlan reacted, he said at one point, Jimmy freaking Butler. I mean, he didn't know what else to say. There are fan bases who don't have this. Jimmy Butler has entered a new echelon of NBA stardom, and I don't know. Like I'm having a tough time trying to figure out exactly where he is now in the hierarchy because he's very close to the top.
Oh, Hawk, and that guy being a great basketball player, being electric like a Trae Young, how he can go for 40 any night, but being a Jimmy Butler, the guys you brought up, the Dwyane Wades, the Shaqs, a guy that brings you to championship era, championship range. That's the crazy part. There are a lot of great basketball teams and players that are good, but they can't give you what Jimmy gives you. It's genius what they do. I saw it last night, and it clicked from Milwaukee and the Knicks. They just stay around until about 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they say, okay, let's go. It's amazing to me. And yesterday, Jimmy played great, Hawk, but the aggressive Bam is what I've been asking for the entire playoff run. Bam, give me that. I need it in my veins.
That aggressive Bam is a game changer.
Yes.
Game changer. And then you've got guys like Max Strus who are hitting shots and Caleb Martin playing great ball. Like it just, again, I don't know if it's putting together the pieces, it's the personnel side. I don't know if it's Jimmy Butler getting everyone in the moment. I don't know if it's Spo. I don't know if it's Erik Spoelstra. And by the way, Joe Mazzulla was up for criticism if you watch that TNT broadcast. No timeouts in the third quarter when Miami was taking it to him. Jason Tatum was not getting the ball at the end, which was, if I'm a Celtics fan, I'm ready to bang my head against a window watching what was going on there. Jaylen Brown's chucking up shot after shot. Jason Tatum's standing around on the side. That game last night, it was, to me, this almost, Milwaukee was the beginning of this coronation of Jimmy Butler. Now, again, this is one game. You still got to win 3 more. If you're the Heat, you've got to win 4. If you're the Celtics, a lot can still happen. I think it was the beginning of the coronation nationally for Jimmy Butler in the Milwaukee series. And then you took a little bit of a deep breath during the New York series. And then you watched last night in Boston, Jimmy do what he did. And I go, this is some sort of coronation for those that thought Erik Spoelstra, he had LeBron and Wade and Bosh and then a bubble season. Can't count that. This is the beginning, I believe, of the coronation of something that we all know down here. But Jimmy Butler and Erik Spoelstra, like, I think nationally people are looking and going, wow. And people are looking and going, Philadelphia gave up Jimmy Butler? What? They had that guy, and they couldn't find a way to work him into their offense? Like, what? It really is just such a pleasure to watch. It's hard to put it into words.
And a big shot to Spo. Shaq was loving on Spo last night.
Yep.
Because he was saying, which is really what we watch, is that he was like, hey, that Tatum verse 5, that can't work on a team like the Heat. They're too well coached. But the Heat are going to play their game every single moment. Shaq was saying, he was like, I was there with them. I know his approach. You know what to get out of him. You know what you're going to get. And he made up said another great point. He was like, okay, Tatum had 30, Jimmy had 30, Bam had 20, Brown had 20. But then 4 Heat players had 15. and everybody else on Boston couldn't get in the double digits because they're just running their system. And if you beat their system that game, they're going to adjust and do something else the next game. But they're not getting out of what they do. What Boston did, Shaq was saying, is not sustainable against the Heat defense, and I love it. But back to Bam, Hawk. If Bam can play that way, now I'm, the swing of me not having the guts. If I get that Bam, the guts are back in me.
We don't want him.
It was fun last night.
We don't want your guts. We don't want your guts. I'll let you know.
Now.
I speak for Heat Nation. We don't want your guts. We don't want them.
Even reluctant guts are still guts.
No, I don't want bubble guts. Reluctant bubble guts. We don't want them.
We'll take them. We'll take them, Crowder. We're okay with your reluctant guts. We'll take them. Do you have reluctant guts for the Panthers tonight?
No, I think the Heat gave me so much South Florida confidence.
So now you just got guts.
I've got guts everywhere.
I actually do think the Panthers go in and take game 1 tonight, too. I think there's something magical going on in South Florida sports. Fun as hell, man. That game was fun as hell. I love and I love Eric Reed and John Crotty doing the games, but man, Kevin Harlan has some panache to his broadcast. And when it's going your way, it's fun. When it's not going your way, I imagine it's not. But yeah, last night was it was fun on top of fun. And when they came out in the third quarter and Boston had no answer to what they were doing. And then they'd make a little bit of a run, and you go, and the crowd was trying to get back into it. It was great. I mean, that Heat team just has no bend to them. Like, they were in control. Like you said, Bam was aggressive. Jimmy was just being Jimmy. Like, it was just such a pleasure to watch, man. Did you see what the line was for tomorrow night's Heat Celtics game?
No.
Heat are 9-point underdogs. And they were 8-point underdogs last night. They are 9-point underdogs tomorrow night in Boston.
Let's ride our underdog right to the championship.
And they love that. They love it. And so I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's the betting public and Vegas saying we think that's a one-game aberration, either for the Heat or for the Celtics, or we still don't believe what the Heat are doing, even though we've seen them put up 9 victories so far in the postseason. We still don't believe that they have enough to be, a championship team. The way they played last night, when you get aggressive Bam like that, they're a championship caliber team. They are. There's just no 2 ways around it.
And you talk about the Jimmy lore, what he did in the final 8 minutes and what Tatum did, forgetting that he had to dribble when he wanted to move. It made Jimmy look better because Jimmy's hitting threes. Jimmy's getting assists for threes. Jimmy's getting his own rebound. And Jason Tatum is jumping up in the air 3 times and not even letting the ball go out of his hand. Like,
it was like pee-wee basketball.
Because if you would ask somebody who's the best player in this series, 95% of people would say Jason Tatum.
100%. 100% would say, except Miami. If you take Miami out of it, nationally, Jason Tatum gets the nod on that 100% of the time.
It did not look that way yesterday.
Nope.